year I'm gonna make dandelion syrup. So what you do, you go out into your garden where you know you haven't sprayed your grass with anything which could be dangerous to yourself or others, and then you pick a couple of dandelion flowers. And as you can see, I'm not the person who cuts that grass like the normal English people do all the time, so I let it grow a little bit so I can actually use what is growing in it, and after I've used it I can cut it down. It doesn't matter if you wait a little bit, and I think it's quite pretty having a garden full of flowers. So there we go, so I'm picking my 60 flowers. So just pick 60 flowers. Go. We've got about 66 flowers, so you can pick between 60 and 70 flowers, I think, and that should be enough for what we're going to make. Drain it quick, don't wash it too long, and not with hot water. There might be any bugs in there, but you can shake them out beforehand. So just drain that quickly. Just all your flowers and drain them, and make sure that there's nothing in them anymore. You fill a cup with 400 milliliters of water, can you see that? And make sure it is cold water. Then add it to your flowers. And then you bring this to the boil. Right. When it boils, make sure you turn the heating down and you simmer it for about 1 minute. And after that, you turn it off, put your lid on it, and leave it to stand overnight. So overnight, it depends when you're doing it, so I suggest you leave it to stand for at least 14 hours. There we go, it's now boiling, so I'm just going to turn the heat down and leave it to simmer for 1 minute, and then we put it aside with the lid on. It is over, I put my lid on and leave it to stand for 14 hours. This has now been left overnight. So I'm going to take the lid off, and I've got a little pot on the side with a sieve, so I'll put my cheesecloth on it, and I'm slowly going to drain it through it. Because you want to squeeze all the liquid out which is in the flowers as well. So this is going into here, nice and slow. Pour all the flowers in. Wrap up your cheesecloth and you squash the rest of the liquid out. Now I will do this now with both hands, so it's very hard to hold the camera at the same time and do this. I'm going to squash all the liquid out of my flowers. I've done this now, and you can see the flowers are reduced to just a little parcel of, squashed out stuff or squashed out flowers. And then I'll take my liquid and I'll put the liquid back into my pot. And I'll put it back onto the heat now and let it boil, and then we add the sugar. And whilst I bring my dandelion flower water to the boil, I measure up 380 gram sugar. I'm going to use the granulated sugar, but you could use brown sugar, caster sugar, whichever you like. you go, that's 380 grams sugar. I add some vanilla sugar. And there we go. Now when my water is boiling, I will add this sugar to my water and then let it simmer for about an hour. It's going to boil now, so I'm going to reduce the heat and I will add my sugar. Of course, make sure that you're constantly stirring. So now leave this to simmer with the lid on for an hour, but make sure that you definitely constantly open up the lid and then stir. I'll say every few minutes. I'm going to stir until the sugar is dissolved and then I put the lid on. When about 50 minutes of your cooking time is over, make sure you get the glass you want to put your syrup in. Make sure it's big enough for your syrup, and then boil some hot water and sterilize your glass. So I pour this in there and sterilize it. Putting the lid on, make sure you're using a glove to do that. Shake it and then take the lid off, and then your glass is ready to pour in your syrup. This has now boiled a lot down, reduced and gone thicker. So I'm just going to stir it. It's nearly the time to take it off, and as you can see now, it's like getting like to more like a syrupy consistence. And don't worry if it's still like thin when you stir it, but when it cools down it will go to a syrupy consistence. So I've got 2 more minutes for this to reduce. I'm going to pour it into my glass. As you can see now, the extreme foaming has stopped and it's gone down to a slight bubbling effect again. And now my hour is over. Now I'm just going to pour that into my glass. I've got this lovely metal drainer which will help me to get it in easier. And remember, this is hot. So stay clear, stay away, and pour it in gentle. There we go, this is all gone in. So I'll take this away and just put my sterilized lid on top. And there we go. And then leave it to cool. And whilst you cool it, this will go thicker. And then you can use it over your pancakes. If you have a roll with butter and just some syrup on it, over bread, over your puddings, wherever you would want to pour it on, or even in your coffee. There we go, and that's it done. And as you can see, I baked a yummy fresh bread in my bread maker. I'm going to cut this now and I will have it with my dandelion syrup. Just a tip as well, if your dandelion syrup cools down and you realize it's too thick, you can always add more lemon to it and it will get it more creamier, but make sure you do that before it sets. So I had to add to mine probably another half a lemon and then stirred it through, and now it has this consistency which I like, which is like honey. I'm gonna get some out and drizzle this all over my bread. Of course we need a bit more.
Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and remember to like and subscribe. I'll see you soon.